What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Today's episode is, as always, brought to you by Off the Record. We love Off the Record, and you guys do too, or at least you keep telling me over and over in the DMs and the emails that Off the Record saved your backside from a big old problem out there. Here's how it works. If you are driving out there in your car, you could be doing basically anything, and then you get pulled over and you get a ticket. It happens, you know, but what you don't do is plead guilty. You never plead guilty. You don't have to plead guilty. It won't just make it go away. Instead, what you do is get off the record. You go to offtherecord.com/TST. That'll get you 10% off all legal services booked through Off the Record, and they will fight that case all the way to the end. If they don't get those points off your record, you don't have to pay. It is like that. Offtherecord.com/TST. I'm using them every time I need them. They're right there in my back pocket, always taking care of me and our TST fan base. So make sure you write that one down. Offtherecord.com/TST. All right, folks, on this show, Zach and I have had a go in the Ineos Grenadier, did a little bit of off-roading, and we go over that. Plus, Herr Fuhrer wants to have an IndyCar race at the National Mall in Washington, and Elon has decided to not make cars anymore, canceling the Model X and S with no replacement. All this and more. It's the Smoking Tire Podcast. Let's go. What the fuck was I even doing this weekend? Went to Manhattan Beach, Cars and Coffee, which was good. It was so busy. Place was like over full by, it's supposed to start at 8. I get there at 7:35 and the place is like blown out, dude.
Wow.
If I didn't have a little, position of authority, maybe I was in. I get a little front rosies, just nice. They put me next to, in between a Singer and a Ford GT, the pink car. It was okay.
Wow. Where do they hold that one? Is it in
At the
a
Point
beach parking lot?
No, it's at the Point, the fucking fancy sort of mall.
Okay.
Right at the, it's Manhattan Beach Cars and Coffee. Now, technically, it's in El Segundo, but it's direct across the street would be Manhattan Beach. It's on the north side of Rosecrans Avenue. The south side of Rosecrans Avenue is Manhattan Beach. I'd pull the same trick. I cannot throw a stone in that glass house. This is West Side Collector Car Storage, Playa Vista. Technically, it's Culver City. Playa Vista's across. Playa Vista's 50 yards away.
Yeah.
It's still. Why do my pants feel so tight right now? Really? These are. You know what I'm doing? I had to get new pants, which is a good thing. Means you're a little less fat. New pants. And so I got the same pants, polo, Ralph Lauren jeans in like different levels of like stretch. These are the fucking no stretch.
Oh, yeah.
These are hard as a rock.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how often I'm supposed to wash these. It's probably not that often.
It's not. Some scientists did a test where like jeans that were worn for like months straight and jeans that were washed, and they had the same bacteria content at the end.
Right.
It's pretty amazing.
They could get smelly. I think. Right?
Depends on how much you fart, maybe.
I mean, dude, if you're an active person and wearing a fucking pair of jeans for 5-6 days in a row,
Depends on how much you sweat.
You're
That's
telling
the biggest
me,
thing. Like jeans,
look,
if you're in Florida in any time and it's humid, your jeans are going to smell much more quickly than out here.
The move I was taught was if you put your jeans in the freezer, it freezes all the bacteria, gets rid of all the smells, but it's not like a wash.
Doesn't damage the jeans, right?
Yeah.
Like washing allegedly does.
I mean, I guess, yeah. I would say I wash my jeans probably every 3 to 5 wears. I wash them. We'll see. But these don't stretch, so they're riding up on my fucking
It's weird. I wear those Prana pants all the time that stretch, and now I'm wearing regular jeans today, and the same thing. They get
it's
stuck.
very, very, very different.
These are the problems we deal with.
Oh man, it's like going barefoot. You're on a beach somewhere for a vacation. You don't wear real shoes for like 5 days. This is going to happen when we go on the boat.
Yep.
And then you put sneakers back on, and even if they're the most comfortable NBs, you're like, oh my God, my foot is like in this coffin.
Yeah.
It's so weird. When I go on the long road trip scouts for road and track, I wear like fucking Lululemon pants because it's just me sitting in a car. Sure. Why would I wear, but then you put on the jeans, you're like, what the fuck is this torture device that has been invented?
Yeah.
Hi everybody. Thanks for joining us. It's Monday. It's our Monday. Don't know when you're going to get this. If you're on Patreon, patreon.com/Smoking Tire Podcast, you can get it live. You get it the same day. You're going to get it way before everybody else, and we're going to get to some of their questions. So if you want to help us out, help yourself out, help us pay the bills, help you get a better experience, patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast is where it's at. Zach and I are dirty this morning because we spent it on the mountain with the new and improved Ineos Grenadier. And Ineos has boy, do they have a name scheming that really takes some learning. So the Ineos is the manufacturer. The Grenadier is the model line. The Grenadier is then broken down into station wagon, which is the SUV that vaguely resembles. I mean, vaguely, a lot resembles a Defender 110.
A lot, yeah.
And then there's the Quartermaster, which is the pickup truck, and that thing is like long, like a Jeep Gladiator.
Yes.
Right. It's picture Jeep Gladiator. But that's the one. You know, I've only ever seen one. I think we have many. We have a higher percentage of Grenadiers on the streets of Los Angeles than most other places in the country.
Yeah, I agree.
Ryan from Ineos, I had lunch with before I got this thing. He said Texas is the biggest market, which doesn't surprise me. This is a real fucking outside of Dallas kind of car.
Sure, and especially if you have a dirt road to your house, it helps justify having an off-roady vehicle. And like it's more of a truck state, or area than Los Angeles is for sure.
So, and this thing is trucky. This is the possibly the truckiest feeling SUV, on the market today. It's ladder frame, it's a body on frame thing, solid axles, old school, and it's a square. It's fucking boxy, and it has recirculating ball steering, which I thought had completely gone the way of the dodo in passenger vehicles, but they're bringing it back.
Does the Wrangler not still use it?
I don't think so. I think the Wrangler finally got. I think the Wrangler finally got it, didn't it? Or no? The Bronco has rack and pinion. The Bronco having rack and pinion eliminates, in my opinion, any valid argument for having recirculating ball steering. Basically, if you don't know what I'm talking about, rack and pinion steering makes SUVs steer more like cars. It's a bit of a sharper turning ratio, more like a car has than a truck has. Whereas the Grenadier has recirculating ball steering, which means it's a lot of turns lock to lock and a lot of sort of big dead zone in the center, followed by a fairly abrupt movement once you notch it one way or the other. You know what I mean? You described it in better words than that earlier.
Well, the off center, it was very light for about an inch, and then as soon as you got to the point of friction, it felt like Camaros in sport mode. The weight was more of a shelf than a ramp.
Yeah.
The Wrangler does still use ball steering, which is why I totally forgot this. The Bronco, one of the big deals is that it has rack and pinion, so that's part of why it's a little easier to drive on the highway.
It's been a while since I drove a Wrangler.
Sure.
Sorry. But now that I would think about it, I remember when we drove all the Broncos, we were like, yes, this is better because it steers better.
Yeah, it steers, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then if you're familiar with Wrangler, then this, I guess, will be kind of like that. But I think something about the recirculating ball steering combined with the shape and position of the steering wheel in this vehicle makes it like extra weird. The steering wheel is like almost a sports car sized steering wheel. It has two spokes. We've got a photo of it somewhere. You have an interior photo handy there. Yeah, it's got two spokes that come out at 9 and 3. Kind of tough to tell which way is up on the steering wheel sometimes.
Yes, it really is.
And it's the kind of wheel you'd see, like this wheel would be right at home in a Mini Cooper.
Yeah, or a Fiat 500. Something kind of funky like that.
Yeah, a Citroen hatchback. So when you combine this small, thick-rimmed steering wheel with a ton of turns lock to lock, and quite a bit of weight, it is fairly heavy steering. It just it to me presents an odd experience for a vehicle that is, for most people in America, going to be driven on the street on tarmac most of the time.
Yeah, like there's a lot of pushback on the wheel, and it could be the alignment. It could be, you have pretty big wheels and tires, but it's just when you turn it, you're getting a lot of force back on it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily feel, but it's pushing those wheels to go straight again.
Yeah.
So the steering, as you turn in, this is better. The Quartermaster, I think you had to like hold it in the turn.
So
it was looser feeling. It was just weird.
The self-centering,
yeah,
which is when you're going from a turn and the car's straightening out, and most cars will, if you let go of the wheel, sort of tends to do that on their own. The wheel will unwind on its own, right? On the road, you have to physically unwind it from a corner in this vehicle. If you make a 90-degree right turn, the wheel will effectively stay there.
It doesn't spin back.
It does not self-center. Yeah. So that's another different thing you have to do, which is in a vehicle where you have to spin the wheel a lot. It's a lot. Now, this sounds like I'm kind of shitting on it. I want to this is a criticism about this thing that I don't particularly like. They made a choice. It's not like a failure. It's not like something that didn't work. Like, they say it's stronger. They say it's better for off-roading. They say this is first and foremost an off-roading vehicle, and driving it on tarmac is deeply secondary to how it performs off-road. Fucking fair enough. Like, fair enough. You know, it's like saying this race car is bad in traffic. Okay, fair enough, you know. So we took it off-roading then. Yep. It's pretty good at that. It is. It's pretty good at that. The trail that we use, which is called Rower, north of L.A., was pretty rough today. This trail was as eroded, full of rocks and holes, and as I've ever seen it. I mean, I think Zach could attest to that this was the most challenging that this particular trail has ever been, in my opinion. Yeah, I think, we had a week of rain, the big storm out here, and it washed all the dirt that fills in these rocks. I mean, some of the rocks we were on, the rain revealed a lot more of them. So if the rock was 4 inches, it might be 6 now. And all of the you have these little, like, Legos that form a larger rock out here, the ones that are all compressed together, and all of those teeth were revealed too. Yeah, which that provides a lot of grip. But I mean, any of these undulations that just turned into rivers during this rainstorm were way deeper than they've been in any of our time climbing this thing. Yeah, normally a competent stock SUV does not have much trouble with this trail. We did it in an Escape before. No, we did it in a Bronco Sport. Sorry, Bronco Sport. Bronco Sport made it up. That was probably the puniest thing to make it up. Did we make it in the Outback, or did we have to turn around? The Outback did not make it. Because it couldn't get past the hole. Yeah, the Outback didn't make it. I tried it in a Macan once, and that couldn't do it. But anything with low range can do it, pretty much. But we had a couple spots today that we had to fully reverse down. I came very close to rolling. Yes. You show the photo. You have the photo of me. I have a photo of the area. This dude, we pushed this thing today. We scratched up both skid plates pretty well, and the center one. It should be said in Rower, there's a couple of hills where you can choose 3 different routes up the hill. And it's usually for skiing, an intermediate slope and 2 expert slopes. But the one in the middle has always had the deepest holes. These kind of oscillations, it's tilting the truck back and forth. It really tests articulation. Yeah. And what I recognized after. We can talk about the moment, and then we can talk about the tech that this truck should have had. Guys, support is coming in today from True Work. Winter job sites don't mess around. It could be freezing in the morning, wet around noon, and then windy and cold in the afternoon. It cuts right through that cheap gear. You need workwear that performs when it's brutal out there. True Work builds performance workwear like it matters, because it does. Just look at Zach in this podcast. He's wearing his True Work hoodie, or he at least did this morning when we went out to test drive the Ineos on a top of a mountain, and it was very cold and windy. True Work was founded by a trade professional who was done with wet, heavy gear slowing him down, and True Work set out to make workwear that keeps the pros comfortable, capable, and ready for whatever the day throws at them. While brands like Carhartt and Dickies focus on traditional cotton-based gear that gets heavy when wet, True Work uses advanced performance fabrics developed for extreme outdoor conditions, now engineered specifically for trade work. It's moisture wicking, it's wind resistant, and insulated with fabrics that keep you comfortable and mobile all day, even in the harshest winter conditions. There's over 50,000 five-star reviews from pros on Trustpilot. Every trade and climate, real feedback from electricians, plumbers, and contractors working through brutal winters. So I've got the True Work hoodie, I got the True Work pants, and although I am not an on-the-job site pro, I work outside a lot, and they are great for keeping me comfortable, keeping me warm when I need it, cool when I need it, and dry when I need it. I love the True Work pants and the hoodie. It's awesome. Don't let cheap gear slow you down this winter. Upgrade your day with workwear built like it matters. Get 15% off your first order at truework.com with code TIRE. That's TRUEWERK.com, code TIRE. I mean, look, the moment is what it is. I went through one of these big swales with a big articulation. In a photo that we're showing right now, the front left tire is at least 18 inches off the ground.
Yeah, and it was higher at a different point in that, in that section. The first time you did it, you stopped.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. And I took a photo, and your tire was absolutely 2 feet off the ground.
Yeah. So then a few feet, maybe 10 feet further up this ravine, there was another swale, but it was very soft.
Yeah.
And we did not air down. We honestly just out of laziness.
Yep.
And usually when we're testing stock SUVs on this trail, we don't air down. We just drive them right off the road and up the trail, just because that's how we do the test. I mean, this isn't like science-y science, but like I think if we air down some of the cars and not others, that would be not consistent.
Right.
So we use whatever drive modes are appropriate and available for the challenge of the obstacle, and we leave the tire pressure stock. Mm-hmm. So I think had we aired down, we probably could have got up this soft thing. We didn't. I had to back down. I tried it like 3 times, and on the third try, the vehicle went into this ravine, but like we kind of realized just how like far down it was. Like, okay, so in this photo, the front left tire is about 3 feet in the air.
That's a lot.
And it's at full droop.
Yeah.
And the other tire is at full compression. The rear tire is articulated, the rear axle is articulated fully in the opposite way. And had the front tire fallen from this, I absolutely would have rolled the vehicle. Well, it was deep enough.
And this was right before, do I have a shot? No, because I put my phone down to help. So right after this moment, the front left tire went into this deep hole, and he kept proceeding forward, but then you hit the soft stuff, and the truck yawed left 9 inches. So now instead of facing straight up that trail and having all that control, you twisted, and the left front was kind of near a bush, back right. I mean, that rear tire could not have gone higher, where it would have gone into the back seat. And I was
sort of sideways down the hill a little bit.
You were sideways, and the way the moment happened when you were starting to back up, I think, and the vehicle like started to the rebound of the shock, and you were going slow, you weren't going fast. It was just the rebound and everything tilted your driver window closer to the ground than we'd ever experienced.
Yeah, and really, really close to the ground.
Like, I ran around the car and probably did nothing, but my instinct was push on the other fender. Not like under the car, but I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And you moved back just enough, and the back left rose up a little and settled it, but woof.
It wasn't like a fuck up that got me there, and it wasn't like an act of heroism that got me out of there. It was just like oh shit, it was one of those. This thing is capable enough that we got to this point where it was like, all right, let's see what this is a hard obstacle. We're going to choose the hardest path. Yeah. We think it can do it. Yeah. It actually can't. This is where it couldn't proceed. We had to go around the other one later, but like, this is a tough rig, but yeah, we got it pretty close to having a moment.
And what this highlighted for me is the advantage of electronic, sway bars. You can get them on the Bronco, Wrangler, I think, had them first, of course, and that makes a massive difference because the articulation
Toyotas, you can do it. I think
you can get them on there too.
The Land Cruisers.
I mean, people who are experienced off-roaders know, and we've been on press launches where you try something with those things engaged, and then you disengage the sway bars and you gain a foot of articulation.
Sure.
Now in the back, I don't know if you would get more room because you might have the tire up against the wheel well, but in the front, if you're able to twist this down another foot, that would have prevented the body from leaning so much.
Yeah, I mean, I think what Ineos is really going for with this thing is to make it as simple as possible, which is an interesting thing for us to explore because I'm not sure that they've succeeded because it's not as complex as most modern vehicles. It has, as they told me, like somewhere between a half and 2/3 of a third. I want to say that right. The Grenadier has between 1/3 and 1/2 the number of ECUs that a normal car would have today. So it has a mechanical, low range, but it still has electronic, locking diffs. It still has drive modes. It still has, a screen and CarPlay and Bluetooth and fucking ADAS.
Has that? Well, it's a turbocharged engine.
It's a BMW engine and a ZF gearbox.
I mean, it's pretty modern stuff.
Yeah, so it's not like it's got a Buick 3800 V6 and a 5-speed manual,
right.
And crank windows. There are definitely things on this that could break in a modern way, such as the gearbox that got stuck in 4th gear for us. We actually didn't notice it because we were going downhill and we were in low range and we were essentially just idling the engine and using the brakes. But for about 45 minutes, the vehicle was fully stuck in 4th gear.
Yeah.
And we had to shut it off. And I mean, fortunately, all it took to fix it was shut it off, walk away for a few minutes, come back, and that did fix it. But it just is a reminder that weird electronic hiccups can happen in this thing also. It's not so simple that check engine lights and your electronically controlled gearbox getting stuck in 4th gear isn't going to happen. That happened.
Yeah.
But the analogness of it in an otherwise incredibly digitized world is super welcome. The buttons and the knobs and the toggles and the fact that at night there's so little light coming at you in the cockpit. All that shit is fucking great.
Yeah, and those little bars next to the toggles, I'd always looked at them and just thought, oh, that's a design
guards,
thing.
The
guards, yeah, the little metal guards.
Yeah.
I just didn't understand the true function. And then we're bouncing around, and I had to disable the front locking diff or whatever. And I hooked my finger on it and hit it with my thumb, and I went, oh, yeah, that's why. Because otherwise, there's no way I'd be able to aim for that button while we were bouncing up and down this trail.
The off-road controls aren't fully as intuitive as they maybe should be, but there is a nice, quick, handy reference guide card.
The placard
that was very
so
helpful.
Every car company, if it's a press car, should have that thing. If you're an owner, you might learn these things, but I think any car that's sold and aimed at off-roaders should have placard, off-road functions, because now with all these electronic diffs, locking this and that, sometimes you have to dig in the manual and go find page 212E. And then if you want to look at a different function, it's over on a different page. And this was, here's all the things you might need to know. And it was really handy.
We only, when we had the other Ineos, a year and a half ago, whatever it was, we had trouble getting into some of these modes.
True.
We didn't have that card.
True.
And the reason is it can only go into this mode if this mode is engaged first. But that doesn't pop up on the screen.
I wish it did that because I'm glad you brought that up. There's a little on the lower left side of the screen is where the warning lights pop up, little information. I kept thinking it was a button.
They're not clickable.
It's shaped like some of the clickable buttons.
Yeah.
But we have this screen that can display so much information, and later on it said window washer fluid low.
Yeah.
So there's programming in there that could tell me things, but to just say this unavailable, tell me why.
Give me further information
before you go into this mode. This must be activated because as much as I dislike Hyundai N Division's menu black hole, it will often say, hey, you have to go into this mode first. Doesn't tell you how, but it does say you have to be in that mode
first. It should work like a car configurator, right? Where you click on the wool seats and it says, I'm sorry, you have to get premium package. Would you like to add premium package? And then it's just done, right? Like, if it can work on the thing you use to buy the car, it should work in the car.
That is exactly the idea.
Like, you must, to get in this mode, you must disable traction control. Would you like to disable traction control? Yes. Okay, done. Yeah. Like, there should just be a flow chart of that.
Because it's clear you want that thing on.
Right.
So,
speaking of which, ADAS, okay? Now, a British car company, and we know from Aston Martin, the UK mandatory ADAS law, and for these small car makers, and for maybe I'll have to correct myself. This is a U.S. market vehicle. This is not a European spec car. So it's the ADAS fully goes back on every time you start the car. Mm-hmm. If there are two kinds of cars where this should not happen, luxury, sporty SUVs is got to be the biggest one. Because those are cars driven every day by people. That's people's every car. And then shit like this, where it's supposed to give you the impression of something older. And it's doing the most annoying thing possible out of today's cars. And to turn off the fucking ADAS in this thing, you have to go in the touchscreen, you have to press Settings, Vehicle Functions, ADAS, which brings up the ADAS menu. That's 3 button taps. If you are stopped, and I mean in park, you can then scroll to the bottom of a long menu at the very bottom and click a thing saying turn off all. And you have to do that. That's your best case scenario for every time you start the car. And I'm talking lane keep that
we'll get to that in a second.
The lane keep that makes you almost think you've had a crash.
The force of correction on the wheel was so abrupt. It happened twice while you were driving us back that I thought you were avoiding something about to hit.
Yeah.
And you're like, you had just like moved towards the yellow line on the left, and it pushed back with like 3 or 4 times as hard as you had moved over. So it doesn't match the angle or cadence with which you've drifted.
Yeah.
It's really unnerving.
Almost like a dog ran in the road and I'm trying to avoid it or something. And you're talking about a top-heavy, floppy-ass SUV, not a fucking Cayenne Turbo, right? So you have to... So if best case scenario is 1, 2, 3, slide 4 when you're parked every time. Best case scenario. If you forget and now you're driving, you can't hit the fucking turn all off. They gray it out. Now you have like 6 individual ADAS functions. Click off. Are you sure? Yes. Click off. Are you sure? Yes. Click off. Are you sure? Yes. Click off. Are you sure? So now it goes to like 15 button taps touchscreen taps while you're driving.
Right.
This is like crazy town. I can't fucking... And Johnny... I had dinner with Johnny the other night for a thing with Sergio, because Tato's going to... whatever. We had dinner together. And Johnny goes... He's like in love with this thing. He goes, when I'm done with the Rivian, I'm going to buy one of these. This is going to be my next daily driver. I go, Johnny, have you messed with the ADAS yet? And he goes, no, I didn't really try it yet. You're going to want to do that. This shit is crazy, dude. That alone puts it in the absolutely fucking never category for me.
I just think it's strange that, the intention of ADAS is to increase safety, but if you are moving, it requires more attention on the screen than if you were parked.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. What else did I write about this thing? Okay, the good. Folks, got to take one more quick break because Fitbod wants your ears. And man, I cannot tell you how important it is to have a routine and stick to it and get accountability, right? I have accountability. I have a personal trainer. I spoil myself. I spend my money on a personal trainer. And look, it works. I got to do it. I know how to do a workout, but I need that accountability. And that if you don't have a personal trainer, Fitbod is a personal trainer in your pocket. Right? It's so easy. Fitbod creates personalized workout routines based on your goals, fitness level, and your available equipment, right? Then the workouts can adapt to your growth, so every workout is challenging enough to push you to make progress, just like a personal trainer. Fitbod then tracks your muscle recovery so you can avoid burnout and keep up your momentum. Fitbod is fine-tuned by experienced certified personal trainers to bring best practices and exercise science right to you. And there are over 1,000 demonstration videos within Fitbod, so you know that you're doing the workouts right. You're not going to get hurt. The Fitbod app makes working out easier. It feels like having a personal trainer in your pocket, and it will customize these workouts based on the goals that you have. So level up your workout in the new year. Join Fitbod today to get your personalized workout plan at fitbod.me/tire. That's fitbod.me/tire. fitbod.me/tire. And now back to the show. I think the BMW powertrain, for the most part, fits the character of this thing very well. I think it works.
The only exception, though, was in low range, there was this kind of step. As you start applying throttle, the boost surge that would happen, it made it a little hard to modulate the thrust and then like the speed of the rear wheel or the wheels between like 2,000 and 2,800 RPM. All of a sudden they go from
torque spike,
and it highlighted for me how impressive the 4Runner was. You know, that's a 4-cylinder engine, but it had the iPower whatever electric boost, and by filling in those torque spots, it was much easier to creep up this exact same trail.
Dude, the electric G-Wagon.
Sure. That's
the electric G-Wagon and the Rivian, the 4-motor Rivian. That shit, that's like next level. I mean, you don't want a Rivian in the fucking middle of Africa. That makes total sense. But for local off-roading, holy shit, is 4-motor EV where it's fucking at.
Yeah, that was the most control.
I think the Grenadier, particularly, and let's get a better picture of it in fire engine fucking red, which is new for this year with the Steelies, and it's got the snorkel on it, though they qualified the snorkel with it is a dust snorkel, not a water snorkel. The fitment where the snorkel goes into the steel body is not watertight. So it's really for dust and not water.
Yeah, the opening on the snorkel faces the back of the car, not the front of the car.
Yeah. So I might not equip mine with dust snorkel, but this one. But still, the red with the black steelies, that's dope.
Looks very good.
The interior, I love the dashboard, the headliner, the pop-up sunroofs above the driver. Like, that shit is great. But this thing is $95,000. I don't mind manual seats, but we need lumbar support. That is I need, even if it's just a knob you crank up or a thing you squeeze, like for $95,000
for $100,000, and it's a vehicle that's meant to be driven for long distance. I flew in yesterday from New York, sat on a plane for 5.5 hours, and my back hurt toward the end of that, and I was sitting there going, the shape of the seat feels good now. But would it after 5 hours? I don't know the answer to that question.
It doesn't. You notice the lack of the lumbar.
And the other thing is that the adjustment knob for the seat, to change the angle of the seat, is right in line with the B-pillar. And if your hands and wrists are any bigger than ours,
it's weird.
You're not adjusting it.
Yeah, it's weird. And then the back seat, which in the pickup truck, if you recall, was fucking laughable because the cab is really short to have like a bed. And so the back, it's a vertical.
It's a pew.
So the back seat is like so vertical, like you cannot fit in it in the pickup truck. They might as well ditch the back doors and just make it extended cab and have the seats fold forward or something. But like, that's just crazy. In this one, the back seat is okay. The leg room's okay, but it's still very upright. It doesn't recline. It also doesn't fold down flat. It's fixed. There's no...
Oh, I didn't expect that. Really?
It doesn't fold forward and it doesn't fold back, and there's no fold down armrest in the middle. Again, $95,000. And the seats are made by like Recaro, I think.
Wow, you can't change the angle and you can't fold it down. So if you own this thing and you want to move
I don't
a
know
table,
if the seats are made by Recaro. Don't hold me to that. I thought I saw Recaro on there somewhere, but I just it doesn't. Again, for this much money, like I get that boutique vehicles made in small volume and the actual quality, as you noticed as well today, Zach. This thing is screwed.
Yeah.
They are, right?
Yeah.
So this thing is. It's not like they don't know how to make a good seat. Like Fisker, they've never even tried. Their seats were terrible, but like, I don't know. There is a bunch of stuff where it's like, yes, it's boutique. Yes, it's analog. Yes, it's got a lot of things about it that do make it sort of pseudo exotic. But there's other shit where it's like, for this much money, dude, lumbar, a back seat, a rear seat that has some kind of adjustment.
So Top Gear magazine said the rear seats, the bench does fold flat.
It does?
So maybe we didn't find that thing.
We have to go
so
out.
We should go
we'll have to go out and look again. I couldn't find a lever anywhere.
It may not lean back, because that's something that's kind of recent to cars, where the back seat is adjustable to lean back for comfort. Folding flat forward has been around for a long, long time.
Yeah,
but it is a nice thing.
There's nothing behind it.
Right.
There isn't a good reason that this can't have some adjustability to it.
This has a lot of the ergonomics of like a G-Wagon.
Yeah.
Back seat, not a lot of legroom.
Yeah.
Trunk, not that deep, although maybe I'd have to look at the measurements. Like, not that deep. I like the split tailgate door. I think it's clever, so it doesn't need as much room to swing out as a G-Wagon.
Swing, or was it a Bronco? I think it's the Bronco. The Bronco had like you need an enormous amount of room to open that door.
That and the G-Wagon.
Was it the Bronco or the? I think it was. I think it was the Bronco. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
But it does. I mean, now this thing had 1,000 miles on it. I think it felt really, really solid, even compared to when we've gotten Wrangler vehicles. Just it feels like the tolerances are really, really good.
Yeah.
Bouncing up and down all these rocks, like the only wiggle sound in the entire car was the keychain.
Yeah.
I got
that was driving me nuts, too. That keychain.
Click. I almost stopped to take the thing off. Also, it has a key, which is interesting. Now
yeah,
it keeps it simple.
You put the key in.
Keeps it simple.
That's one less ECU without having that thing.
Yeah, that was the only sound in it.
No, I like the key. I like the toggles and the analog switches. I like the manual seats. But I just there's some things that I think that for that much money. Now, this one also had all the off-road stuff. It has the winch, which we didn't use.
That's the most expensive option.
The winch is the most expensive option. It's like $4,000 or something. And it's got. I started down this road. This is the wagon. There's also the Quartermaster is the truck, but then confusingly, Trial Master is an off-road trim package. An off-road equipment package that can be applied to any of them. So you could have a Quartermaster Trial Master, which is dumb. Ineos' naming scheme is really going to go off the rails next year when they come out with the Fusilier, which is one of the worst car names.
That is terrible.
Hey, by the way, speaking of just sidebar, fun fact for everybody today. Did you know that even though in 1958 America had about half the population it has now, during the same 2-year period of time, Ford sold almost twice as many Edsels as Tesla has sold Cybertrucks. A car that is the universally known fail car. They sold twice as many of them to half as many people during the same period of time as the Cybertruck.
Wow.
That's how bad the Cybertruck is a flop.
I mean, there were fewer cars available.
Good point.
So there were fewer cars available per capita.
Good point. Yeah.
Trial Master. Yeah, there's the Quartermaster Trial Master.
Yeah. So you could have a Quartermaster Field Master, or you could have a Quartermaster Trial Master. They must have had Infinity's people on the naming scheme. That's just crazy.
Yeah, Quartermaster Field. Just end with Field.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Quartermaster Trials.
Yeah, not Trial. Yeah. Trials. Good. Yeah. And you'd keep Black Edition. You would not shorten that.
Right. So, I mean, look, if anyone out there is considering an old Defender, and I don't mean like 1960s old, but I mean like any of those fucking crazy expensive like V8 swap Defenders, any of that kind of shit, skip all of that. Just skip straight over that garbage and just get one of these.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think you want a Defender, I can almost guarantee you actually want this instead.
This had, I rested my arm on the armrest on the left side.
It's meant for people who have left arms.
And for people who have arms toward the outside of the vehicle on either side. Yeah. It drives nice. And I think, the ball steering, as annoying as it is for road stuff, it's true of the Wrangler as well. When you are driving off-road and there's a lot of kickback on the tires, it mutes that pretty well.
Sure.
There's not a lot, it reduces the chances of you breaking your fingers. But keep your thumbs out of the spokes anyway.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. I mean, and it's better built than one of those old, the comp for this is old Defender, not new Range Rover, or maybe hopped up Wrangler. I mean, if you were considering one of those $75,000 or $80,000 hopped up Wranglers, I think your money goes further buying one of these.
I think as long as you're driving on the road more.
Right.
Because the hopped up Wrangler will have things like the
sway
electronic
bars.
sway bars.
Yeah.
Like it will be more suited for serious off roading.
Yeah.
And the engine, if it's still the Pentastar V6, is also like a simpler, kind of more known thing. But this kind of reminds me, at that price point, this is like the shop foreman drives this, like the F-150 Platinum Edition.
Yeah.
It looks off-roady. It is off-roady to a degree, but it has a slightly different badge. It looks different. It looks like the old Defender, but drives more like a new car.
You got to explain to a lot of people that it's not a Defender.
That's true.
I had to spend a lot of time.
Did you get approached a lot?
Yeah. Oh, what's up with the Defender? Like, oh, it's not. What is it? It's named after.
It's made by Chevron.
Yeah, I mean, like, what if Chevron made a car?
That's what Ineos is. Ineos is like a petroleum company, so it's like if this is the Chevron Grenadier,
it's the
or
most
Bombardier
fucking gas company car like ever. Yeah,
but they made a good product. I mean, I think we're pointing out the details and the tiny problems, which is what we should do, and for first effort, as we've talked about.
Oh yeah,
very impressive.
Honestly, if you look at this car and just looking at it, you go, I like that, you probably will. Like, you actually probably will. Mm-hmm. The only things that would keep me from buying it, if I really liked how it looked and the idea of it, is the ADAS and maybe the seats.
I wonder if U.S. lobbyists or companies or something can make an argument for, if a car is imported from Europe, can we have a different ADAS interaction system that's quicker or than they have over there? If they can
I think
just
it's
add a little
voluntary.
program.
I don't think they have to put that in here for America. That shit's voluntary.
Well, I think people like having lane keep assist. They like having those features in U.S. cars also. But if we can access those controls and disable them more quickly than Europe law allows.
Yeah, or just have them stay off. If you turn it off, I mean, the answer is just to have it, or default to wherever you left it. That's the thing. Yeah, a car. Imagine setting anything in your car, the fucking radio, the memory seats, whatever, and every time you get back in the car, it's not where you left it. That's fucking crazy.
True.
That's terrible.
Yeah, true.
Who would want a car like that?
We need ADAS memory function. You hit M.
Oh my God! Tie it to the memory seat,
sure,
bro. Your big boy needs ADAS off. Your short woman.
Sure.
I'm not being sexist. I'm talking about my own wife. Your short woman in memory 3 really fucking needs it.
Yeah. I mean, there's profiles like the M cars have all that stuff. So why not have an ADAS profile? Patent pending. Zach Clapman.
Fucking
Matt
all
Farah,
right.
Smoking Tire.
They don't. I kept saying to like Aston, like, how come, you've got Tour, Sport, Track, and then individual. I said, well, why don't you just make it so you can have individual ADAS settings in your individual drive mode? So I start the car and I go into individual and everything's where I want it. And they said it's like not enough, button clicks or whatever to. It's got to be by law.
Oh,
there's the minimum 3.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that makes sense.
We didn't break it, but we did scratch the skid plates a little bit.
We peed our pants.
We peed pants and definitely did a little scratchy in the underside, but that's what it's there for.
And I don't know how much lean one of these vehicles can take. I'm sure if we were the pro off-roader coach or something, they go, no, you got a couple degrees left.
Yeah,
that was enough for us.
That's like that Ron White joke. Like, I don't know how many of them it would take to beat me up, but I know how many they had. And the last thing about it, dude, you know what I did experience on the highway? The funhouse mirror effect at night, because all the windows are vertical, like my old Hummer. I've told this story, but the light bounces around in there.
Oh my gosh.
And so if you have you see cars in the back window that are being reflected from the front window. So like, I was following a white Mini Cooper and I look in the rearview mirror and it shows me in my back window
the taillights
the
of a
ass
Mini
end
Cooper.
of a white Mini Cooper.
And you're like, man, that guy's going fast in reverse.
And that used to happen in my Hummer, and it happens in this too. When the windows are perfectly vertical, you get funhouse mirrors.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a little creepy. So thanks to Ineos for letting us have a go for a week. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
We do. It was a fun morning out there. Till I thought I lost my phone. We had to go look for it. And
and
then it was in the car
happened.
the whole time.
Yep.
It
really
was
was.
hidden very well in the car, but we thought it fell out of the car.
Yeah.
And we went looking for it. It was on the way back to where we were going. And then it wasn't there. So I logged into Zach's phone, used the Find My iPhone. I made my phone play a little song, and the song came from the car. There we go. It was excellent. Excellent day. What else we have? Oh, so I don't want to get political, but did you see that fucking Herr Fuhrer wants to have an IndyCar race at the National Mall in Washington?
What?
Yeah.
I did not see that.
So first they want to do UFC on the White House lawn, and now they're talking about having an IndyCar race in Washington, D.C. They planned the Freedom 250 around the National Mall. It's part of the this is
I'm playing up a map
like
of the
in
National
Gladiator.
Mall.
200 days of games. This is like the straight up Commodus 200 days of games era of. Now, I'm not inherently against having a street race in Washington, D.C. That's okay, right? The fuck not? Have a little IndyCar race.
Sure. I mean, street circuits are fun and they're exciting. Okay, so it would be like around here-ish.
My guess is it would be. Yeah, I don't know what the distances are. Yeah, where does that bottom Independence Ave Southwest does it come bring? Oh yeah, it comes around.
Wow.
So it probably will connect somewhere and then go up, Constitution Avenue, back around, right?
Yeah, I mean that could be fast. That
could be
cool.
kind of a neat track.
This is like a gentle sweeper.
Yeah, I mean maybe they chicane it somewhere if you go around the Lincoln Memorial. If you take a hard right
in here.
Yeah, and go Lincoln Memorial, and then north there. Yeah, or on the angle maybe on the 45 there. That could be cool.
Look, I gotta say, out of all the things he has decreed in the last year, this is probably my favorite.
This was okay.
Because if someone got the permits independently from him, it was like, we're having a race here, and here's what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
I'd say if the track's cool, like that's pretty cool.
Right.
So
you can't make something shitty just because Trump did it.
Yes,
right.
That's what I'm trying. Trying to do that. And it's probably easier to get those permits when it's been decreed by the great leader.
Yeah.
Which is now that's the aspect I don't like. Because
he's in construction, he can just waive permits, right?
Well, you just don't pay the permit. You just go ahead anyway.
You just do it, whatever.
All right. I think I need to see the track map of what they would do. Man, you could.
You're gonna turn right on Trump Avenue and then turn left onto Trump Place and then go straight down Trump Way and then he's gonna and then you brake at the Trump S's.
You got the Barron chicane.
Yeah. You do a lap.
You
around
should call it the chicane because we're gonna get demonetized because it's causing a little trouble.
Yeah, it is.
It just could throw off your race.
Yeah,
we're gonna get no views on this video now.
Turn left at the S's.
Yeah.
Oh, bleh. Anyway.
But there's no rules. You can just go straight across those, and there will be no flag.
Questions? We should get to that.
Yeah.
I don't have. I legitimately don't have anything else.
Yeah, I didn't drive anything this weekend.
I drove my own cars. How about that? I put 250 miles on my Spider this weekend, and I reminded myself that it now has 7,500 miles,
nice.
And I need an oil change. So it's going to go to BBI next week for an oil change.
For the 8-hour surgery.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy how long fucking oil changes take in Spiders. That's insane. Let's go to the people. Of course, who are these people? Patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast. They're the people that support this show in good times and in bad with their dollars every month, keeping the show rolling down the river. And for those dollars, they get to listen to the show live. If not live, they get to listen to the show early. They get to ask their questions for the show, which we will get to in just a second. They get extra show every month, and they get exclusive access to merch collabs and things like the Notice Canyon watches that we are doing, and patrons get them first. All righty. Queers shifting gears. I'm trying to make a list of fun vintage sporty runabouts for Cleveland, Ohio. Previously had an MG and a Boxster. Currently top of the list is a Honda S800 and an Old Mini. What else should I throw on the list? And a Manx feels a bit too weather dependent. Well, how about your Beetles then? I mean, there's lots of room in Beetle land.
True.
Not weather dependent. If you haven't had a Beetle, I would throw that in there. I mean, old British shit, right? Your Triumphs, your Austin Healey's. I mean, you had an MGA, so you know about that. S800's a great call.
It is. The coupe I just looked up. That's a pretty cool looking thing.
Oh, those are pretty rad. Yeah. Oh, dude, you know what I just saw that was amazing? It was a Triumph TR4 coach body by Vignale. It was at the Manhattan Beach Cars and Coffee. I'd never seen one before. It was very pretty. It was an Italian-styled Triumph. I believe it was a TR4. They made like 300 of them or something. Do you see that? It's like Triumph TR4 Italiano or some shit like that. But the body is by Vignale, Vignale, and it sort of has a very like Maserati-ish kind of look. You want me to find one?
Triumph Italia?
Yeah, Italia, that might be it. Yeah, that, top left, Triumph Italia. That's it, sorry. That look, I mean, that is...
Ooh, that's like a baby Aston.
It's like a little baby Maserati Sebring.
Or that, yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool,
This is really nice in the back.
This thing was red tan, looked great, had the fitted luggage in there. That's a hot little item.
Yeah.
If you can find yourself
That's a great
Triumph Italia.
rear three-quarter view.
Yeah. Apparently they're pretty rare, only made a couple hundred of them, but fucking cool. Yeah. I like that. How about something a little more modern? How about an Audi TT, first gen?
That's a good
Baseball
that's a good
stitch.
choice.
Sporty runabout? That could be awesome. P-Car Photos. Do you prefer the look of the Miata RF over the standard soft top? And does the RF's added weight noticeably change the driving experience?
Yes, I do. And no, I don't think it really does.
I do not prefer the look of the retractable hardtop. I do not think it significantly changes the driving experience. However, I think it's still fucking loud in there, considering it's a real roof.
It totally is.
It doesn't knock the noise back that much.
It weighs 113 pounds more.
Yeah.
And I think it changes the noise by like a decibel or two. So I like it. I think it looks cool, and I like the security of the hardtop versus the soft top, and more durable over long-term ownership.
Yeah. Duffel Shuffle Retirement Club recently learned about the diesel-powered Audi R8 prototype. Didn't that have the V12 diesel in it out of that we're using in the Q7? I think it did. Diesel R8. What crazy diesel engine in a supercar combo would you like to see? Interesting question and interesting thought exercise. Personally, a diesel engine in a supercar does not interest me at all.
It doesn't. Diesel, I like the torque of it and the long legs. My brain goes to like Veyron if you want to drive 2,000 miles in one tank of fuel.
Yeah.
But if you have a supercar, you have supercar gas card money, then just keep putting high octane in it. You know,
it doesn't sound as good. It doesn't rev. The power band that it makes is not the kind of power band that I enjoy in a sports car. I mean, I think Audi's strategy at Le Mans with the diesel cars was fucking unbelievable.
Sure.
I mean, it worked for years.
But they won races with it, but they did not put it in their supercar.
Yeah, I mean, I think that says a lot. I mean, the engine, you know, the race car driver drives the race car fast, like whatever it is. The race car driver is not there to have fun. And I am there to have fun. I'm spending a lot of money on this car to have fun. And I'm guessing the reason they never actually made it is because it probably wasn't very fun.
Imagine the rev sound.
It probably sucked. I mean, it probably wasn't that great. Like, I think that's a sad truth of diesels in sports cars. It's just like they're not for that.
It's hard to do
having said that,
R8 sound.
Yeah, what would I like? I do think you could put like a Cummins or like I saw a Duramax in like an old Cadillac.
Yes.
Like that, there's something to that, where if you have an old cruiser, you could diesel it up and it could be cool.
Lead sleds, old hot rods, those are cool. And I still like the M cars in Europe that are diesel. I think for like, remember those like the M550D?
Sure.
Whatever.
Yeah, no, I don't mind that as a that's like because that's a highway car.
Exactly.
That's like I'm doing 30,000 miles a year, and that's all right. I just like not for a supercar. Gat Farah.
It's a good one.
I've been thinking about buying a gun. I mean, I have a shotgun, but but like a gun. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be thinking like that. I don't want to. I'm not a gun. I'm not like a have a gun guy.
If it gets to there, just swing by your friend's house.
I know.
And borrow one.
If it does, that's true. If it does, I know where to go.
You have the sailing knowledge. And your friend has the other.
Oh, for fucking sure. Shit really goes down. Guess what? No boat is safe.
Look, we Voltron.
We're fucking going. Okay. Gat Farah says, regarding the lemonade debate, okay, this is now, I don't know if it's a debate, but this is a company that is offering to provide discounted insurance based on the fact that it says that if you use Tesla FSD, you are safer and therefore your rates go down. And we've sort of pretty much implied that that's not actually based in any existing science. The question is, wouldn't an insurance company that has a telematics platform be ideally positioned to produce their own data about FSD versus non-FSD safety? I think there is actually an argument for that. If Lemonade knows about driving behavior via their own data and can then correlate to FSD versus non-FSD miles and then compare to all cars in the data set, surely they'd be able to draw a good conclusion to support their FSD discount. For the record, I think this is tech bro accelerationist BS also. I think you're right here. I think if they did have telematics and connected telemetry that really did work and could produce that type of a test, and could get it in enough cars and have it running over a period of time, they absolutely could produce their own data. But it doesn't seem like that's what they're trying to do. It seems like they're trying to hype FSD.
Yeah, we'll see. Real quick, someone mentioned Caster in terms of the Ineos, and I found an Ineos forum, and people said that in stock, this is 2024 cars, the stock vehicles only had 2 degrees of Caster. So one person added 1.5 degrees, and it made a big difference in their steering response. Really? So remember who made that Volvo we drove, the P1800 thing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Zero Caster, terrible auto return.
We didn't even mention it, but the 2026 vehicle, which we were driving, did have like a list of like 60 updates. And some of them were big and some of them were small. So there was like updates to the climate control system, updates to like all kinds of little stuff. But there were a couple of updates to the steering, little suspension bits that changed the behavior. I think based on those type of complaints from those earlier cars. And so although I don't have an apples to apples comparison in order to say like, yes, this is better, I think it's a little better than when I drove it last time.
I think it is too.
But it's still not as good as if it was a rack and pinion system.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamarck 4 Supra. It's pretty good. If OEMs could set up a completely blind test, meaning journalists got in a car and there was no badging and no way to tell what brand of car you're in, what cars would overperform and what cars would underperform?
Talking about performance driving or like in terms of people's review of that car?
I mean, I don't know if they mean if it means driving or like touching stuff and quality. I mean, cars that would overperform driving is probably like Genesis, actually. In terms of touching and in terms of driving is probably Genesis. Yep. Cars that would underperform, non-M BMWs now. I think if you got in a fucking, like a fully loaded up, I don't know, Elantra versus a BMW 2 Series, the front-wheel drive one, the Ford, I bet you couldn't tell much difference at all.
Yeah, they both have lots of screen.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think the Cadillacs would underperform because I think Genesis and Hyundai and they've gotten closer to those higher-priced vehicles, and Cadillac has a lot of the same like hard buttons, which I really appreciate, but because they don't have the fancy sparkle sometimes, which is detrimental, like Mercedes, you might think it's lower market.
Sure. If you're talking dynamics, the Cadillacs would probably overperform.
Very true.
Yeah.
I was thinking just interior design.
Re-education through working on shit boxes. New assignment for the patrons. I would like your kitschy usernames to be based on Rise Against songs for the next 3 months, please. Let's work on that. Re-education through labor is an excellent song. Tim McElrath was at the Tom Morello concert.
The one in Minneapolis?
Yeah, with Springsteen and shit.
Oh, cool.
They did a couple Rise Against tunes, and they also did Misery by Soul Asylum, which is a great song. A few weeks ago, asked for advice debating between the 981 Boxster S and the E92 M3, and your recommendation came down to don't get back seats if you don't need them. Then my wife and I just learned we have a need for back seats in the near future.
Congrats.
Congratulations. There we go. Is an E90 M3 manual a better M5 than an E39 M5?
I think in many ways,
yes. In many ways, yes.
In terms of reliability, cost of ownership, twisty dynamic fun, yes, all those things.
It's a 9 years newer car. It's a second generation engine compared to the M5's engine. I would say yes, it is a better car. Yeah, the E39 M5 is probably a better collectible. But, yeah, I think a four-door M3 E90 is a good choice. And congratulations. Sweden Low. Okay, looking for tires for a Saab 9000 Turbo. You know when the last time I saw a fucking 9000 Turbo was out? Saabs don't exist in L.A.
Yeah, they don't.
I saw one 900 at Manhattan Beach Cars and Coffee. Non-turbo, no wing. They were on the East Coast. They were everywhere. They just don't exist here. Do you have an opinion on, quote, classic tires versus a regular, modern, high-quality all-season? Is this a cosmetic thing for the purists?
Because they point out that these classic tires are more expensive than a similar, AS tire.
Yeah. So here's the good thing about the classic tires is they're used modern rubber. Right, it's the old shape and style, and it's modern rubber. So for a car like a Countach or an '80s, an exotic car or a specialty car, or as you pointed out, if you want the look, or if you want the car to drive kind of like how it would have, but with the better compound, so it'll grip better, but with the tread pattern, it would drive in the wet and snow like it would have back then, and so If you want to, keep it period correct, pay the cost to be the boss, right? And these tires are made in smaller quantities, so they're going to be more expensive.
But also the rim size. I mean, this is
they mentioned the Michelin 15s.
Yeah, they mentioned the Michelin XZX. It only comes in a 12-inch and a 15-inch rim size.
So it comes either for a Mini Cooper.
Yeah,
the 12 would be a Mini, and then a 15 is going to be
Miata.
A lot of. Well, also my Countach is 15s. True. I mean, my Manx is 15s. The Ferrari 308 is 15s. A lot of 80s cars are 15s. 70s and 80s cars. In my opinion, if you don't care about the look and you do care about the price, just get regular tires.
Yeah,
no one's going to be like, ew, bro, your car, you put new tires on your car? And speaking of which, I should get front row parking forever. How many times I'm plugging Manhattan Beach Cars and Coffee? But there was a Fox body, 93 Cobra. And as I do, because I can't help myself, squat down, look at the tires, and the guy goes, "They're original." I go, "From 93?" And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "Did you drive this here?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "You really shouldn't be doing that." And he looked at me like, "Okay, buddy, wherever." And I go, "Look, no, man, nobody gives a shit that this has original tires on it.
30.
And if you really care that much, take them off and put them in a bag. You're one pothole away from spinning this thing into a telephone pole.
A blowout. I mean, the tire just shred.
30-year-old tires this guy's driving around on. What are you doing?
I think people don't know. People literally don't know. So
bragging about it. Oof. Lucky to be alive. Yama Habibi. If you had to prescribe driving homework to every driving enthusiast, what cars should every enthusiast experience driving at least once in their life? I mean, that's an easy one. You've got your Miatas. You've got your Mustangs, 80s, 90s Mustangs. You've got your Civic. You drive a great Civic. Everyone should drive an early 2000s Subaru WRX or STI, also an Evo. Everyone should try a gated manual Ferrari. Everybody should at least be driven, if not drive, in a McLaren in anger, like a 750 on a track or a 765 on a track. And you'd be shocked that things like that are allowed for sale on the street at all. And everyone should do a quarter-mile pull in like a Lucid Sapphire or Taycan Turbo GT to really understand what they're selling people in terms of. And everyone should do a quarter-mile pull in a Rivian quad motor and then have to slam on the brakes at the quarter mile just to see what they're actually selling people over there. And you'll be like, oh, that shouldn't be legal.
I think you should also hopefully get a quarter-mile pull in something with a big turbo.
Yeah.
Just to see the difference in generational horsepower.
Everyone should try a Model T. Everyone should try a 3 on the tree column, a 3 on the tree shift. That'll get you going.
Old stuff, new stuff, mid-engine, rear-engine, front. Start with that criteria for sure.
Yeah, it's a good question.
It's a great question.
The bottom line is like as many different things as possible.
Yeah.
Even Flowmaster.
That one's great.
That's excellent.
Even Flow. With a resonant chamber. What are they defining? We should do more of their product.
Oh, the cops all know. So they chasing us away. What's a more timeless modern era design? The last generation Lexus GS or C6?
C6.
I have a question. Is that question set up because those are like particularly not timeless designs?
I think the last gen GS is a good car.
It is, but if you look timeless?
No.
Not with that shredder grill.
Exactly.
What are we doing?
That was like the first step in what many of us call a bad front end design.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of shredder.
The timeless GS is the second gen GS, the one where it was the GS 400, the 4i car. That motherfucker is timeless. That one. Top left, the GS 400.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a fucking exceptional car, no notes? That GS 400. That thing was fast as fuck, great interior design, aged beautifully, couldn't kill it. Fabulous car.
Yeah.
The 6-cylinder ones you could turn into drift cars because they had 2Js. But I'm going to go with fucking neither even Flowmaster.
Oh, well, I'm going to C6 out of the two of these.
I guess C6, but the C6 is a fucking... I don't think it's
I think the
well.
interior ruins the exterior. I think the exterior profile front is fantastic, and then you look inside and you go, it's basically a C5, and that sucks. So this is a little confusing.
This is weird. IndyCar
sell well.
IndyCar out D-car. Okay. Do you think most modern enthusiast cars are doomed to sell well for the first years and then die off and be killed? It seems that people want one, but then everyone gets one and then they die off and they don't do a new one right around its time for a refresh or a new generation, killing or neutering the car for the next generation. I mean, the problem is that people just can't fucking afford cars.
Yeah.
Like, enthusiast cars are luxury purchases, whether it's a second car or, driving a sports car as your main car instead of something more practical. And so when budgets get tight, people go, I'm not going to get the second car. I can't afford to finance it. I'm going to wait and buy a used one or whatever. Sports, I'm writing a column next month for Road and Track about income inequality and how it's fucking up cars, because we have the inverse. Right now, the car market in terms of sports cars is inverse for what it should be. There should be 30 different options for the masses and enthusiasts to buy reasonably affordable sports cars. Instead, there's like 5 cars for everybody and like 30 different choices if you can spend $1 to $6 million on cars, which is like, that's not how it should be. That's crazy. There should be fewer and fewer things to choose from as you get higher and higher up because there's fewer and fewer people to serve. Mm-hmm. But we have an opposite, this is what they call the K-shaped economy. We have the opposite of that happening right now, and that's fucked up. So, yeah, I mean, everyone wants to build a sports car, so they try to build a sports car. Subaru partners with fucking Toyota. Toyota partners with BMW. There's partnerships because no one could do it on their own. They build a sports car, and then it sells in very small numbers because there's a very small number of people that are in that what used to be called middle class that can have a second car, but that second car isn't going to be a McLaren. So yeah, it sucks. Rolex LT Lariat King Ranch. I do not purchase things with leather, used or new, as I am one of those damn vegans. Do I? Okay. What are your thoughts on Porsche Race Tech's interior over leather, or overall thoughts on quality synthetics? So I have Race Techs in my Spider. I like it for the seats. I hate it on the steering wheel and shifter, and I'm going to change my steering wheel to leather. Sorry, vegan. Having said that, I don't hate synthetic materials. I love a great cloth.
Right.
Volvo wool. Rivian's use of cloths with they're not using real leather. Whatever their leather is not.
And there's a lot of synthetic leathers now that look and feel very close to the real stuff. And if you had like a cloth insert with the vegan leather exterior, which is made of plastic or whatever, but I think it looks amazing and feels good too.
Yeah, most of the higher end alternative leathers feel really nice. Yeah. Now, you get into a Bentley or something, and damn, now you're fucking serious leather. That's a different story. But yeah, I don't like on the steering wheel or the shifter. But other than that, I do like it. Yeah. Koji, in cars where you're stuck between two wheel sizes. Oh, where you have a choice of two wheel sizes. How do you personally go about picking which size to go with? Do you downsize for lighter weight and cheaper tires? Or if you can get the bigger size in a forged wheel where weight is an issue, do you opt that? It's a dilemma I'm struggling with right now. Sometimes you can, the bigger, a 19 might be lighter than the 18 because there might be more wheel and less tire. Could in some cases be, if you have very light wheels, for instance.
Sure. You also can fit larger brakes sometimes, depending on how the interior dimensions of that wheel, and that could be beneficial. I would always opt for smaller wheel, more sidewall, both from an aesthetics point, because I think it looks cool on basically anything, and also because of the roads around here. Yeah. So it depends on where you live, and I think your aesthetic style and what you're doing with the car. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, if you have bumpy roads, you want sidewall. If your roads are great and you just like the look, possibly, depending on the car, you might get maybe a little bit sharper turn in with the bigger wheel because you'll have less sidewall flex.
But you can get that. You could get a more aggressive tire. And you could accomplish the same thing.
You could, if that's what you wanted, you could still do that. Yeah. Federal Investigator, pretty good. Were single-clutch transmissions, such as Lambo's E-Gear and Ferrari's F1, considered bad when they were new, or were they considered a revolutionary new technology at the time? Both.
Yeah.
Both. Go watch some episodes of Top Gear. Go find the original episodes of Top Gear on YouTube or on what, Hulu or Prime or wherever the fuck they are. Of Clarkson reviewing like the Ferrari 360 or the Aston Vanquish or or the Mercy Lambo. They're just shitting on the gearbox and talking about how terrible it is the whole time. And when we were driving those cars new at the rental company, we fucking hated them. They would blow, the hydraulic pumps would blow. They'd roast the clutches like crazy. You had to, the original ones like the Ferrari 355 and the Vanquish, like you were really supposed to like tug the paddles and put the car into neutral when you came to a traffic light. You weren't supposed to sit there in first gear the whole time. You could like wear out the throwout bearing. Like that's silly.
But I also, and I was more of a consumer, well, not a consumer, I was a valet, but like my exposure to it was, I thought it was exciting because it was different. and it was a cool thing to have paddles on the car.
Yeah.
And when it kind of worked, it felt cool. Like the SMG, now I know it's super slow, but at the time it was just such an interesting idea that I thought it was exciting. But it was still bad.
The idea of it was like, I can see where you're going with this. And at the time it was, well, this works in race cars because it works, you know, if you're flat on the floorboard, then it was reasonably quick.
Yeah.
It was just clunky around town and you go, okay, well, this is race car technology. It's not great in the street cars. And I think people at the time just wanted what the race cars had, and that was fancier. Plus, like, I think Americans liked automatic. I think Americans just like automatic transmissions and wanted to drive automatic transmissions.
It was cool.
I thought they were shit at the time, but don't worry, they're still shitty today. Gila Monster Greg, what is that? What's the new 911 Rally GT?
This is the 911 Rally.
This is a
GT.
rally homologation kit for the
GT3
Cup car.
Cup.
Oh. So they're selling a fucking rally car. That is awesome. I don't need to have any thoughts. That's awesome. How is that not awesome? That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
I was curious. Oh, top speed.
Can I just can we get a better photo? Is the car road legal? That's a good question. Yes, with rally homologation, the Rally GT is road legal car for competition use only. That's awesome.
Here we go. Biggest changes.
It's based on the Cup car, adapted for rally use, features a modified roll cage to carry a spare wheel, rally-specific suspension, underbody protection, as well as a co-driver's seat, handbrake.
Misspelled brake. You misspelled brake,
I did,
Porsche.
yeah, and 4 identical rally tires. The powerful engine, sequential gearbox with modified ratios, ABS, and traction control. That's pretty fucking awesome. How do I drive this? We must. We must drive this. It's street legal.
Yeah. Should do a Targa with it.
That's very, very, very sick. Yeah. We have to figure out how to drive this.
They're listening.
I know,
Porsche's
but we
always
must.
listening.
That's so cool. Yeah.
It'd be a good time.
That is all that is right and good in the world. Off-road sports cars are just better. Carbon monocoque and ball torture.
So good.
That's so funny. One of the most boring cars I've ever owned is a Saab 9.3, and yet I couldn't leave the house with at least one Saab nerd approaching me to chew my ear off for an hour. That's very funny. In your experience, what's the most or most surprising enthusiast nerd magnet car? Skylines.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get out of a gas station because everyone's...
I'm glad you mentioned that because Sarah showed me a video this weekend. It's like a TikTok thing, but the caption, it's someone with a red R32, and the caption says, like, quote, "You know that girls aren't going to approach you for that car, right? It's just dudes." And it's like, I know.
Yeah.
And it's just footage of dudes giving thumbs up and stuff. And I went, wow, it would be really funny if there's gay car dudes out there that are
but
just
if that's your move,
if that's
just cruise it.
If that's the move and it works, only on men, it'd be so funny. If
we're gonna have to get
R32 fishing lure.
Queer shifting gears. We need you to weigh in on this, please. I don't know if these are men, women, or otherwise, but let us know. Is that a good way for men to attract other men?
Yeah.
I think it probably is.
I would like that's funny.
It's pretty fucking funny.
Nerds? Yeah, I mean, Skylines, sure.
I mean, everyone wants to talk to you about your DeLorean.
Yeah, but I was going to say most surprising. I feel like the DeLorean is too famous.
Yeah.
Delica, does that get approached a lot?
People,
by like van nerds?
Not really. People are like, oh, that's cool, but then they don't really give a shit. The POW, I mean, Hannah's POW people love. Everybody loves the POW. I mean, this Ineos, is a fairly regular car, and people seem to be into it.
I think older cars.
Sure.
Maybe that's not surprising, but like, your NSX, it's 20 years old, but you'd probably park it and get approached by lots of enthusiasts.
I was very surprised at how much love the NSX would get on the street. It was a lot. But if you have a really clean, old cool car. Like, it doesn't have to be fancy, but like just something, whatever, but that's nice and like a Beetle
It's a super clean stock 240SX.
Sure.
You'd get so many people saying what's up.
People offering you money.
Yeah, just NA whatever coupe.
LL Cartier.
Like Cool J. So I guess it's
LL Cool J, LL Cartier.
LL
Got it. All
Cartier.
right, cool. Yeah. Got a chance to drive the S63 E Performance for a little over 1,000 miles around Texas. I found it to be effortlessly fast, and the stereo and toys are amazing. However, I expected it to have no road or wind noise, supple suspension, and that the seats would guarantee my back would never feel a thing. And I was disappointed in those things. Am I disappointed because it's an AMG, or because my expectations are off? Zach reviewed this car.
I had the exact same expectations, and I came away disappointed because I think adding too much performance to the S class, and I know they want to sell it and make it differentiate it from the lower S classes. But I think, to me, a big body Benz of that should be a great highway machine, but a comfortable highway machine. So give it all the power in the world, give it 1,000 pound-feet of torque and stuff, but make the suspension soft and make the wheels slightly smaller, because on mild cracks in Santa Monica, and I mean really like mild, joints between smooth concrete, it like shook through the car. I think it has 22-inch wheels, and it just felt like they pushed it too far to the twisty track performance envelope, and they completely lost what that car is intended for and will be used for. So
I haven't driven it, but I would want it to ride well. I mean, maybe they've just done a little too much AMG. They went a little too far. Got to dial that shit back. But your back, I mean, the seats that your back did it not have good seats?
No, I thought the seats were great.
Maybe I wonder if is there like further touch screen? Like if you just fuck with the controls. No, but if you just set the seat using the controls, but you don't dig into the menus to get, you got to get the additional lumbar. All that stuff's in the MMI.
And the adjustable bolsters. And with Mercedes, you can change the lumbar with that graphic. Not only how pronounced it is, you can make it look like a pregnant woman or a lightly pregnant woman, but you can also move the lumbar up and down. And you have to get into those menus to find that stuff. And then you can tailor the seat totally to your body shape. But the ride, what your back's going to feel through the tires is not adjustable. Not really.
Matt's missing Countach part. Cadillac and Audi are now in F1. Predictions for who will have a better year.
Well, Audi bought Sauber.
Yeah.
And Cadillac's making their own team.
Yeah.
My money would be on Audi. And Cadillac racing is so good. I mean, when they're in IMSA, they are one of the top 3 contenders basically every year for.
But Audi was extremely dominant in endurance racing as well.
And I think Audi knows how to endurance race. F1 is not an endurance race, but they know how to race. But they bought an existing team that was doing okay. And Cadillac is like everything is from the ground zero, and I think that will have a lot more issues.
Yeah, I mean, the odds of them coming out of the hole fucking on podium is probably low.
Yeah, they'll learn and they'll catch up, but I think they're starting behind.
Right. Oh, boy. David Tuig, the pink, one in the stink. So, it turns out I know like 3 people in the Epstein files.
The newly released ones.
Newly released one. A couple, the Brian Vickers and Sarah Kellen thing goes back like 11 years to when me and Spike hosted that TV show together with Brian Vickers. And his like wife was around, and she was just Brian's wife, and he was just a retired NASCAR driver. And we were, she was just hanging out. So we were talking about her. What do you do? Interior designer. Okay. You like cars? Yeah. What do you drive? Ferrari 599. It's like, what? This girl was like maybe in her late 20s or early 30s. I'm like, you drive a Ferrari 599? And she's like, yeah, and I have a Bentley or something else expensive. And I was like, interiors? You're an interior designer? Like, okay. But like something was like off, and like later Spike was like doing some Googling and like found out then like that this girl his wife was like Ghislaine Maxwell's like number 2 like recruiter.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
No, this was in 2015.
Whoa.
This was in 2015. And me and Spike have been talking about this for years. For years. And every time there's been a tidbit about, her name was Sarah Kellen, or is. I don't think she's ever been charged with anything. Her name's come up a million fucking times. I don't know why it's like a bombshell that all of a sudden Brian Vickers was involved, because he's married to her. So, like, of course his name is going to be in there fucking somewhere. I haven't seen either of them since 2015, by the way. And then, yeah, Peter Attia's in there, too. That's not great. You know, I don't know this guy that well. He came on the show. He's a doctor. He's pretty well known. He's a huge fan of Ayrton Senna and is a very fast racing driver also. And, yep, in the Epstein files. So there's not, he's not, I mean, there isn't anything.
Do we know what he's doing? Because so I pull up this story. This is very recent.
There isn't anything overtly criminal that I saw. Okay, and I didn't spend a lot of time on this, but like there's just emails back and forth of 2 people that are clearly friends, like.
Right. So Vickers forwarded a sexually explicit. This is from USA Today. He forwarded a sexually explicit email to Epstein with a story about someone who gets rejected by a princess, and then a prince that gets rejected. So he's in there for that.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to find information on Sarah Kellen.
Well, she's right. I mean, she's right there. Vickers' ex-wife, Sarah Kellen, blah blah blah. And there's two links right there of her. In that paragraph that you're on right there. Down. One of those 2.
Oh. Okay. Oh, yeah. She was accused of recruiting.
Yeah.
I mean, was she found guilty? I don't know.
I don't actually know if she was tried, but she's certainly, Got
it.
Definitely been around, let's just say. And, the thing that Spike found back in the day, the address of her office for her interior design business, it was in a fucking building Epstein owned. Like, it was at Epstein's, like, building.
Right. So was she doing any interior design or being paid for that, but doing other things?
It was driving around a Ferrari 599 at 20-something. So, yeah. And then, Peter's in there, too. Fucking, I nothing, like, overt, but, like, friendly emails between friends.
I mean, I said in the car,
it's not great.
Like,
it's not great.
Like, I would feel gutted if my name showed up and it was like, Epstein was hit by valet Zach Clapman while at the Chop House in Boulder in 2007.
Yeah.
And it was like I crashed a car into him or something like that. And even then,
No, Thaddeus was like, don't worry, the only Farah in there is a hotel in Morocco. I was like, whoa!
Yeah.
All right. But man, fucking everybody knew Epstein, I guess, huh? It seems like all the rich people on all sides of the fucking political spectrum.
I think it does really matter how you knew this person, because if they were putting themselves in rich people parties, and you were also going to not the island parties, I'm saying
the charity parties or whatever the fuck.
And there's 1,000 people in the room
doing
high society stuff. Okay, but the details do matter. So,
sure.
Yeah. Go read the complaint line logs if you're listening to this and you haven't seen them, because those are disgusting, and that's where like the real story, I think, is. The extent of my wanting to read about the Epstein files, I watch CoffeeZilla. Yeah, I love me some CoffeeZilla. The latest video from the other day that was like 2 days ago or whatever about this was great. Not so great that Peter was in there. I mean, not great. So, I mean, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to say. Hung out with the guy a couple times. We didn't do anything weird. We looked at cars and talked about Senna.
Talked about Ayrton Senna. Yeah. Major depreciation disorder says lots of people say certain cars hold value better than they should. But have you seen examples of cars that depreciate badly even though they shouldn't? Sure. There are cars that depreciate faster than they should.
Well, how do we define like should or shouldn't? It's like we love them because they're exciting, but they depreciate, because they made a ton of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that car, we think that car is worth more than X, but it's fallen to that value because there's a bunch of them out there, or because they fall apart and they suck.
We need to change the wording, because it's not cars that depreciate badly even though they shouldn't. It should be cars that depreciate badly even though they're fundamentally good cars. You know what I mean? Because like sometimes a car depreciates badly because it's an unreliable piece of shit. Sometimes a car depreciates badly because they just built too many.
Right.
Like that's Corvettes. I mean, I'm literally counting on that. I am counting on Corvette ZR1s to get so cheap that I can buy one as a daily beater.
Or the fact that the Z06s have already come down.
They're already there.
Hugely in price.
And regular ass C7s, like a Stingray, is like a $55,000 car right now with relatively low miles. So like, you can always count on GM to make one more car than they should have. And so,
that's a good example.
Yeah. Granny shifting, not double clutching
like this question.
You should. Would you rather be a moderately successful racing driver, think mid-tier IndyCar, or have the careers you currently have? I'd rather have the career I currently have.
I think something that isn't talked about, but if you listen to Dinner with Racers, a lot of the racers they talk about the hustle required by a racing driver below the top tier, the hustle they have to put in to get sponsors for everything for every year is crazy. I mean, all of them have the same story of knocking on 100 doors when they're getting started. Even when they're winning a couple things or doing well, they have to go sell themselves all the time. And that just seems, for me, that would be like impossible. That'd be really hard. Not to mention, you don't get to drive everything. You get to drive one thing and
and it might
really
suck.
Fast at it.
I mean, what if what if the car you have is a piece of shit, or the team you're in is a piece of shit, but you need them?
Ross Bentley has that story. Like the cars, his Indy car was this engine from last generation. It wasn't competitive, and then they kept exploding. So you could get stuck with that.
Yeah. Major depreciation disorder. When the STI was discontinued, I thought, Zach, can you check this? So it's some sold listings on Cars and Bids. When the STI was discontinued, I thought it would hold value or possibly appreciate. Looking at BAT and Cars and Bids, I've seen many go for underwhelming figures. In some cases, WRXs hold value better. Why does nobody seem to care about STIs? Interesting question. Part of it is that Subaru hasn't really done anything to make younger people excited about STIs. You know what I mean? Or about Subarus. Like, they don't have a real, like, they're not rallying right now. Let's see. Let's go, hang on. Let's go for, can we, results? Let's go for recent. Sold for, so there's a Type RA, 13,300 miles, 40,000. 2016, one owner, 15,000. I mean, I would say 1,200. Well, I would say this. They don't really appear to be collectible. They appear to be fun cars to drive that, will hold value sort of well to a point.
Wow, look, I mean, this is 10,000 miles on a car that's 11 years old.
Yeah.
And it's 25 grand.
Yeah. I mean, that's not great.
That is so low. That's 1,000 miles a year less. And
I mean, actually, look, that would be if that sale went through, which it doesn't look like it did, but that would be a good buy. A 10,000 mile STI for 25 grand.
Well, then we get into the thing: is the mileage too low where you need to fix things because it wasn't driven enough?
I think those are enough miles.
Good spot.
I think 1,000 miles a year is enough miles that you don't have to fix things from lack of use.
I'd have to look at the production numbers. I think for me, and a lot of it is that the car's performance hasn't changed drastically enough. So you don't just have the supply of like the most recent generation. You have the supply of effectively 04 to now.
Yeah. And
they all make almost the same horsepower. The transmissions, I think, are the same. It's a good 6-speed, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and they don't break, so they don't have to change it. But you go, okay, well, basically you're picking an appearance package. Which one do you like the best? But I think that means the supply number is really high, and so they're not that collectible. And I think they get driven a lot, which is good.
And also, like, they have a floor,
right here.
Like, yeah, like a running, driving, non-salvage one is always going to be worth like 15, 16 grand, right? So you know, you can use that number of knowing where the floor is to buy one used and enjoy, you know?
Yeah.
Going, all right, well, if I pay $25,000 for that 10-year-old one, you know, I could put 100,000 miles on it, and as long as I don't crash it or otherwise break it, I'm only going to lose, you know, whatever, $8,000 in depreciation.
Yeah.
So it's not going to cost me anything to buy. So all these collectible ones are fucking in the wrapper, right? Those are all, or like a 22B or something. But like,
pretty much,
you know, so they're just not investment grade cars, which is okay. It means buy, drive, and enjoy.
It also looks like the ones that are selling for more money, is according to BAT, are the 04 to 06s, the
with like no miles,
and Hawkeye with low miles.
Yeah.
But anything that's newer than that, that's when you're getting, even that one, that's when you're getting into like the 20s and the 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those 04 to 06 cars or 04 to 07, I mean, those are really iconic cars. And so I'm not sure like if you said to me, Matt, what does a 2005 STI look like? I go, well, it has these headlights and this wing. If you said, what's a 2016 look like compared to a 2014? Like, I couldn't really tell you.
I couldn't either. I think we kind of stopped paying attention to them. And, because that was after the egg. That was after the hatchback.
Yeah. Queer Shifting Gears says, thoughts on the car community using delete as a verb or noun for removing or swapping something. Where did it come from? I mean, you go back to like the 60s and you could have air conditioning delete or radio delete packages for muscle cars and shit.
Definitely. I think what they say is, I guess on the E500 discussion, you said we're deleting the wood trim and swapping it with all wood.
Oh, well,
so that's just like, maybe just, I mean, language changes. It evolves a lot as time goes on. But
if I literally said it like that, that's me speaking very sloppily.
Yeah,
we're not deleting. We're changing.
Yeah.
We're changing wood to metal.
I think delete mostly means I didn't choose this option that was available. You know, if like the
delete
GT3
is not just not getting an option. There are options to remove shit.
Yeah.
That's delete.
You're selecting to take away the thing that was included.
Correct.
Yes.
Like you could get, like in the GT4, you could get air conditioning delete, things like that. Okay. When Baymobile says, when equipped with an automatic gearbox, the Mazda RX-8 cannot reach 7,000 RPM in order to open an intake valve that would otherwise be able to open with a car equipped with a manual because the red line is higher. This, among other things, caused engines to fail and sullied the reputation of the car. Have there been other cars that, when equipped with certain options, drastically change reliability of that car? Oh, yeah.
That's a pretty unique situation.
No, for sure. There's like this, in this description, like if you had a car that had a shitty automatic transmission, well, yeah, if you got the automatic transmission, it would be worse than if you got the manual, which was fine. Right?
Well, if the auto is the thing that breaks. This is interesting because the transmission selected is causing engines to fail versus the transmission failing.
Well, we just talked about this. The F1 pumps in the single clutch gearboxes, like a stick shift Ferrari 360 is drastically more reliable when it's driven properly and not smoke the clutch than a fucking paddle shifted one. Way more reliable.
Yeah.
But not because the gearbox ruins the engine. It's because the gearbox isn't reliable. So those for sure. The Wranglers 4xe, any Chrysler hybrid or whatever Stellantis hybrid product, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, overcomplicating usually leads to a reduction in reliability.
Right. Yeah. Back in the day, the Cadillac cylinder deactivation from the 80s.
Oh, because
the V8 642 or whatever it was. I think V8 64 it was called. It was essentially cylinder deactivation, and it was just a mess.
Wasn't that happening with an LS generation? Because it deactivates, you're not getting that wash, the gasoline cleaning off the cylinders and stuff.
It could have been, yeah. Not sure. Okay. Let's see. Koji also says it seems that The latest trend in BMW track cars is swapping in the B48 turbo 4-cylinder, which I think was in like the 230 and BMW. Shops are doing this swap and a tune into E36s and getting cars that put down faster track times than the cars equipped with S54s and LSs, lighter weight, better chassis balance. Okay. If you were one of the people tracking their older BMW and chasing faster lap times, would you do this? I don't see why not, if it actually worked.
This makes total sense. If all I'm chasing is lap times, then you will always go for the thing that will make you faster. So reduce weight, move the weight balance back.
Sure.
Reliability stays the same. Power, especially with power and BOP and all these different class rules. Then
you use
go,
the automatic gearbox.
Am I hitting the horsepower number that we're allowed to have? Yes.
Yeah.
So if I can do that with less weight and less consumption and better weight balance, the answer is yes.
And if you can literally do the whole powertrain, like that B48 with the ZF 8-speed automatic gearbox, like I just did a fucking endurance race with that gearbox. I will absolutely race with that gearbox. That is a excellent automatic transmission for racing. Like, does exactly what it's fucking told. So if I was doing it, I would actually ditch the stick also and take the automatic. Yeah. Fast Back to the Future. Assuming it can be done OEM and has good margins, is there a market for a shop that creates and sells Crosstrek converted STIs? Are you turning an STI into a Crosstrek or a Crosstrek into an STI?
That's a very good question. I assumed it would be swapping stuff, STI stuff, into the Crosstrek converted STIs.
No, I think it would
you're right, that's that direction. So you're just lifting an STI?
You're lifting an STI.
Well, that market surely exists. That's called rally suspension.
Yeah.
And that's much simpler than swapping STI parts into a Crosstrek, probably.
But I don't know let's say a Crosstrek is a $35,000 car. I don't know. Let's say an STI, well, it is a $50,000 car, right? So are you going to get somebody who really wants to spend like $75,000 on a Subaru? I don't think you are.
I think the market's very small for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And if in either direction, if you want to make a Crosstrek faster, there's probably cheaper ways to do it. Just put a turbo, a small one on that thing, or maybe you can just swap the engine. But to make a full STI version of Crosstrek with trans and fitment and all that stuff would probably be tough and expensive.
Yeah. I blow horns. Why are many automotive news outlets referring to an upcoming 911 GT car that's been tested recently as a GT3 RS, claiming it's going turbo as opposed to NA for the next gen? Isn't it obviously a GT2 RS testing? I think you're right. I think all these people are saying the next gen GT3 RS is going turbo to get people to click on their shit, when in reality the spy shots are very obviously a GT2 RS. The question for me is the GT2 RS going to be hybrid? Or will it be just a twin, like last generation's
Crazy
twin turbo,
or
a juiced up version of the 3-liter, which we know can make big power? So that's really the question for me. It is also possible that the next gen GT car, GT3 RS, might have to be turbocharged, or it might have to have a hybrid assist system in it, or have something. Like, I'm not sure how long they can keep building that engine. I think they're going to try, but I don't know if they can.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when these changes happen, they'll say, why is Porsche or why is car company doing this? And the answer is almost always not because they want to, because they have to.
Focus ST Lover. What would you consider to be the best car for the snow under 35K, no modifications? I mean, whichever one you can just get snow tires from the factory. Like the best car in the snow. By the way, we live in Los Angeles. I have a very limited amount of time to drive cars in the snow. Like I testing cars in the snow is a real treat. I love doing it, but like that doesn't happen here. So, but like. Any all-wheel drive car, let's game it out. It'll probably be a Subaru.
My thought went to Outback of some kind, preferably like the last gen where they're a little bit smaller than.
Essentially like a Crosstrek or a it has all-wheel drive that's longitudinal, not Haldex based, so it has a real transfer case, real longitudinal, all-wheel drive. and you just put good tires on that.
Yeah. I think Crosstrek with snow tires is the answer because you have ground clearance, you have a simple engine, it's not turbocharged, and the diff situation is simpler than some of the front-wheel drive based cars. So,
Elderly woman behind the wheel of a small car. You recently said that no production cars have ever really scared you. What about the opposite? Have any cars just been way too easy to drive at the limit?
GTRs.
GTRs
R35.
are boring. Yeah, R35 GTRs are boring. Yeah.
Now, the limits have gotten higher with cars like that because its power's gone up. So, a new 911 Turbo S, which is what the GTR competed with when it came out, is so fast. The limits, the kinetic energy and the momentum, like if you lose it at that speed, the speeds capable, would be pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
So it's gotten harder. But usually things that have too much tire and not enough horsepower are also very easy to drive. Miata is pretty easy to drive at the limit.
Yeah,
Not in a bad way, but it's easy.
There's cars with more tire than power.
Subaru BRZ TS.
Sure.
That thing,
yeah.
Sticky, tightly sprung, no guts.
GR Corollas are really easy to drive at the limit, particularly the automatic transmission equipped ones. You could fucking lap and lap and lap and lap and lap. Like the Golf R. I mean, the Golf R is an incredibly competent car that is not particularly exciting. I could get to within a quarter second a lap of what that car could ever possibly do on like lap 3. And now what do I learn? So that's kind of like where those types of cars could be like boring is on a track, because on a road, well, the scenery changes, so every corner is a little bit of a new adventure. But on a track where you have the same 12 corners over and over, and you can figure out what a car can do like right quick, now you're boring.
We did that one.
Blue Chews and Blue Cruise. Thinking about that combination, that would be a good like OnlyFans channel. Like for a couple
yes.
that was like giving roadhead constantly.
Yep.
For a while, remember there was like when FSD like first came out, there was a bunch of like FSD porn.
Yep.
I'm glad they've stopped doing that. Thoughts on the discontinuation of the Model S and X? That is the X. I could see, but what's crazy is that they don't like have a new one. Like they're just canceling this car, these two cars, and it's not like they're replacing them with other cars. Like they're actually talking about building this dumb fucking robot thing. What are we doing?
Right. They say they're going to shift production at the Fremont factory from Model S and X to robots, to the Optimus robots and whatnot.
That are very real and that we're all going to fucking have for sure. That is just crazy to me.
I wonder I don't think the X has been selling well for a long time.
Yeah.
So getting rid of that makes sense. I am curious. I'll look it up while you chat. Like what the Model S sales have done, or have the 3 and the Y eclipsed the S so much?
No, the S is such an old car, and it's still expensive. The X is fucking stupid, but to not have replacements.
Very true. That is a unique thing that most car companies don't do.
That is crazy, And not only that, I mean, we know for a fact they don't really have any next gen plans for Model Y or Model 3 either. I guess they don't want to build cars anymore. I mean, it turns out that shocking that most of Elon's bullshit was fucking bullshit because this, it was supposed to make transportation fucking greener. That was going to be the thing, and now they've rolled back all these environmental fucking regulations thanks to the fucking guy that Elon effectively guaranteed got into office, and now Tesla's just not going to build cars anymore.
It's weird. According to goodcarbadcar.net, the annual sales for the Model S peaked at 90,000 in 2022, although they were going down.
Yeah, 90,000.
That's weird.
That's when the Plaid came out.
Okay.
That was the Plaid.
So they sold a lot of Plaids, but since then, it's 26,000 in 23, 15,000 in 24, 9,000 in 25.
Yeah.
So pretty steep decline. Geez, I mean, that's falling really fast.
Yeah.
So they had their time, kind of the early teens, selling in the 20s, but still not super high.
That's not that many.
I mean, the average, if you get rid of the 90, I mean, it's like 22,000 a year.
Yeah.
So I think the 3 and the Y. But it is weird. I get it, getting rid of sedans. Ford's done that. But to get rid of your largest SUV,
well,
and not replace
and not
it
have a fucking
is something I don't think another car company would do.
That's crazy. I mean, they're going so hard at this AI thing. I mean, it either it's spectacularly successful and regular people are deeply fucked, or it goes spectacularly wrong, and regular people will get to laugh in 5 minutes before realizing that the entire economy was propped up on this, and we're all deeply fucked.
Propped up on the AI thing?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, that would hurt the Mag 7 and SPY and all that stuff. I think the bigger question is, if the robots don't work out for him in terms of manufacturing, does Tesla crater down to being valued like what a car company should be valued at? And if they succeed, does he actually have an army of robots to do his bidding?
I mean, first off, they will not. There are already domestic robots. I have like 4 of them in my kitchen right now. I have a dishwasher, a washing machine, Roomba, a dryer, a fucking automatic coffee maker. I have all kinds of robots that do things already. They're not shaped like people because they'd be worse at their job if they were shaped like fucking people.
I mean, yeah, car companies already use robots to do specialized things.
Yeah.
But a human is more versatile in skills than something bolted to the ground that can like move a thing or weld a thing.
But
or whatever.
It's like so bad at things.
It is.
It's so bad at doing things.
Yeah.
Like it's like the reason our eyes are good is because they're connected to our brain. The reason our hands can do things is because they're all connected to our brain. Without an actual human brain, you fucking can't do any of this shit.
Well, it depends on what you program it to do. I mean, computers can.
A
you can program
general
to do lots
AI
of stuff.
robot is what he's trying to sell.
Yeah,
you can't. That's not a thing. You can't have that. I feel like I'm fucking taking crazy pills. Everyone's like, when he has robots, like, what the fuck do you mean when he has? This is not real.
Following you around and doing your dishes for you.
This is bullshit, dude. None of this is real. Ugh. Colin Sieb is reading The Power of Now. Have the lessons from the book stuck or faded in your daily life? The only thing that sticks is to be an observer of yourself. I read this book like 3 years ago, and so it's essentially like if you're having negative thoughts about yourself, the idea is that you step out and become an observer of that and go, I'm having those thoughts, and and to observe yourself having the thoughts and sort of become that separate from it. The first half of The Power Now is really good. Then the second half, it really veers into Jesus land, and you can let that shit go. But if you have an overactive brain, you can't turn it off, that's a good place to start. My cat's name is Bethany. Hi, Bethany. Psst, psst, psst. When you're on a road trip, what gas station chains do you prefer to stop at if it's available? I don't really give a shit unless it's like not a brand name of gas. Like I try not to stop at gas I've never heard of. I like a good store though. I like a good selection at a store. I like a big travel stop. Given the choice, but I don't really care that much.
My needs are pretty small.
Yeah.
It's like water, caffeine, if they have the tea, great.
Sure.
And then one Quest bar, and I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't poop at gas stations unless it's an emergency. I don't like to roll like that. I prepare for my road trips. My road trip really begins about an hour before I get on the road. There's a poop, and then there's a safety poop. It's got to be.
But that means it does change with wifely presence. Like and Sarah, she'll go to the bathroom at the gas station bathroom, and she'll come out and be like, "That was gnarly."
Yeah.
And she'll go, "You are so lucky that you don't have to do that."
Yeah.
But there's no gas station. Well, gas station bathroom reviews is not an app I've come across in order to.
It's called Grindr.
Yeah, it probably is. The only things I don't like are the super, super tiny gas station where they have like 8 drinks and 2 chips. It's just, and it's what they have room for.
Yeah.
I try to avoid those.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, but it's hard to tell from outside. But I really don't like it when you go, especially in the Midwest or the South, to a really big gas station store. It's fucking big. No sparkling water. They'll have like 30
Club soda.
30 kinds. No, they don't even have that shit. No. They have no bubbly water in this bitch. They'll have like 25 kinds of regular water, flavored, but no bubbles. Come on, guys. Get with the fucking program. Johnny E.V. Gierberman, of all of the pedestrian rentals or loaners you drove in 2025, what was the top 5? I don't have 5 regular cars.
Yeah,
we rented a Chrysler Pacifica.
Those are good.
For racing, fine. That was good. I had a Kia Carnival I rented in Texas. No, I didn't like driving it as much as I liked the Pacifica, to be honest with you.
I drove a Ram 1500 that my stepdad-in-law owns, and that was nice. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Good truck, sure.
I drove a... What else have I driven? I liked my dad's Lexus TX.
You like that? I've seen a couple around here.
Yeah, my dad's Lexus TX I like a lot. That's pretty cool. I think that's a good one.
We have a privileged journalist lifestyle, truly. Like we drive the sporty stuff.
Yeah, and when we travel, we're usually driving press cars, or we're there to drive something else. So there's not a lot of like rentals or like regular ass cars coming through.
Yep. This
Chris
is the end.
Yeah,
that helps you.
Chris, well, we have to be done too. Chris from Colorado says, why do some manufacturers not put emphasis on the tactile feel of the paddle shifters? It should feel like pulling the trigger on a gun, mechanical and crisp. Some of them feel like you're pushing a button on a $15 coffee maker. I don't think very many people use the shift paddles, and I think that if they want something to cheap out on, having that mechanism you're describing, that could bring the cost of that shifter paddle from 15 cents to 40 cents. And that could be axed out of any meeting. I mean, even Porsche has multiple shifter paddles. You know, if you get a Macan or something and it has the paddles, that will feel different from a GT3 paddles. And then the GT3 RS has the optional super clicky paddles. Like, there's an optional crazy paddle set for the GT3 RS that's like out of the race car. That's crazy, but it costs like real money. I mean, so why? Because money. Because it's just an easy thing to cheap out on, and they don't think very many people are going to use them. If I was just driving the Corvette E-Ray, it had carbon paddles. Now, I happen to think carbon paddles feel kind of cheap. I don't think they feel that good. They feel like plastic, but they are carbon. They're not plastic, so I don't know. Okay, wait. Mustang Geek says regarding the C8 Vet's rear view mirror screen, have you considered that a rear view screen lacks a traditional mirror's depth perception because it's literally a 2D device? I mean, yes, I am aware of that, but that's not what I was talking about. What I was talking about was the clarity of the image, not the depth perception. I wasn't complaining about that. I was saying that I could see in my digital rearview mirror that there's 5 cars behind me in the other lane. I can see 5 cars. Whereas I then look in the side view mirror, which is real glass, and I go, that's a BMW 3 Series, a Ford Explorer, a Nissan Versa, a blah, blah. I'm not talking depth perception. I was talking about the clarity of the image in being able to identify what's there. Now, the question, do you think that rear view screens like yoke steering wheels sound like a great idea in theory, but in practice expose massive shortcomings for actual driving? I do, and I think that's a good way to put it, but I don't think it's 100% right, because I think there are benefits. It's not all negative. Like there are certain things about the camera, like the performance in low light and the fact that it's independent of your window being dirty. You can change the field of view of that camera a little bit to suit yourself, the way that adjusting a mirror wouldn't produce the same result. So there are some benefits, but I just think there's also some very interesting drawbacks. It's not a win-win. Can you scroll down,
Yeah.
Zach?
Some people have speculated, like, I looked up what the resolution of the human eye would be if you could measure it like that. And one way of measuring it would be like 12,000 by 12,000 for a picture. So that's obviously much higher resolution.
Yeah,
than
way bigger.
It's way beyond 4K.
Yeah. By Turbo Curious. History has many examples of car companies that tried and failed in America, including most of the French ones. What car brands currently not doing business in the U.S. could succeed here? Oh, BYD. Easy.
Yeah.
BYD,
It's cheap, and it's an appliance that drives people around.
And they don't have weird, unpronounceable names. It's just 3 letters Americans can pronounce.
They're going to start selling them in Canada.
They would undercut everybody. I mean, people would be like, wait a minute, what?
If they were priced here the way they are in other places, they would undercut everyone.
Yeah.
It always depends on tariff adjustment and
Sure.
stuff. I've not read this.
I appreciate that you're asking about a bill, but I didn't read it. I don't know what it is. Tiny Japanese Cobra, last question, then we're done. Says, not everything needs to be fast to be cool. What cars have the highest dollar to horsepower ratio? Crazy 21 window Volkswagen buses come to mind at 200,000 for 50 horsepower. How far back you want to go? I mean, that car we drove in the fucking veteran run was like a $250,000 car. I think it made 6 horsepower.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you go old and collectible and super historic.
What would a Benz patent motor wagon cost at auction? Millions and millions of dollars, and it makes like a half of a horsepower. So it's just like old. Just keep going old, and you'll end up in something that
if
costs.
You had the first Mercedes electric wagon thing. That's not what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, like the patent motor wagon, the little 3-wheeled fucking thing with the big flywheel you started with, like that's like a horsepower.
Or their first electric car that Mrs. Benz drove, like that would be $800 million if you could find it.
Yeah, some historically significant thing that makes 2 horsepower is probably it. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Good show today. Thank you to our patrons for such good questions. Thank you to everyone else for playing along with us. If you want to join the fun, patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast. And we'll see you back here in a couple of days. Bye.